On today's episode of Check-In with Bryan, we are back from fall break and we are starting off strong with the one and only Sarah Dandashy. We're diving into where hospitality is really heading in 2025, how AI is shifting the guest experience, and why the human touch still matters more than anything. We get into travel trends, the slowdown overseas, where Americans are heading instead, plus Sarah's insane shoot world wonders in one weekend story. And yes, she's calling 2026 the year of the safari. Thank you to our studio partners Nextface and iMedia for helping bring this season to life. This episode is brought to you by Reliance Hospitality Global, where hospitality meets strategy. Whether you're developing your next hotel, need help navigating operations, or you're looking to increase profitability through our expert consulting and business process outsourcing services, Reliance has you covered. From boutique independents to full-service brands, we help owners, investors, and partners unlock value at every stage. Visit RelianceHospitality.com to learn more, and let's build something remarkable together. Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of the Check-In with Bryan. I'm your host, Bryan Fish, and I am here today with someone I can honestly call a friend now, and a wonderful guest, Sarah Dandashy, an award-winning global concierge, travel expert, and founder of the Ask a Concierge brand at askaconcierge.tv. askaconcierge.tv, okay. Mm-hmm. Sarah began her career in luxury hospitality at properties including the London West Hollywood, Four Seasons Washington, D.C., the Peninsula Beverly Hills, and the
L'Ermitage Beverly Hills.
Thank God. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. I was just not going to be able to get that. It was named Best Young Concierge by the prestigious International Concierge Association.
Les Clefs.
Fantastic. Thank you. In 2015. She is a graduate of Georgetown University School of Foreign Service. She brings decades of real-world hospitality depth, a global upbringing, having lived in Jeddah.
Yeah, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
London, Atlanta. I love how Atlanta's in there.
Yeah, I got some dirty South in me.
I was like, hey.
I got a little bit of international dirty South. And
you lived in our nation's capital, D.C.
I went to because of Georgetown, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Right. Duh.
Yeah.
And then New York.
Yeah.
And is fluent in multiple languages, and which helps her in her mission of helping travelers and hospitality professionals alike.
Totally.
These days, Sarah is a recognized TV travel expert, keynote speaker, including your TEDx event in Davenport.
Yes, which you came and saw personally.
I did. Was that a year ago now?
That was a year ago.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. Wow. Best-selling author and social media creator, a go-to voice for travel trends, guest experience, innovation, and brand-level hospitality insights. Is there anything else, Sarah?
Oh my gosh, that is the longest intro ever.
I know.
You could just be like, she's somebody in the hospitality industry.
I know. I was about to just say, like, everyone knows you.
No, that's not true.
No, I was telling you before we started about I was doing something at Grand Canyon University, and it ended up becoming a panel about who is Sarah Dandashy and what do you know about her? Like, and oh my God, you got to have dinner with her.
You're like, I didn't just have dinner with her. Like, we've been in Cabo together.
I know. I was like, we went to Cabo together.
We've hung out. We're friends.
In New York, we hung out in Davenport, Iowa.
I mean, obviously, top of everyone's list.
It's so funny to me though in that moment because I was like there to answer questions about other stuff, and then like it turns into
this. How do you know Sarah Dandashy?
I know. And the crazy thing, I have to give those students credit. They did their research because they had figured out that because I didn't say it, they knew from looking at like social media and stuff that I knew you.
Connected.
So I'm crazy, right?
That's wild. That's very cool though.
It was very cool though. I will say I took a lot of credit. I was like, I absolutely do know her.
You're like, we're friends. We're BFFs.
Yeah, which I have to get more copies of your book because I've given your book out
my gosh,
globally now.
Okay. I think I need to do like a little, yes, I can make sure that you get copies. And I think I want to like zhuzh up that first book as I'm going to be working on my second book too.
I'm glad you just want to hop right into the hard hitting stuff.
Oh yeah. Hit away.
Because the one question I have had on my mind for the last week has been, has she finished the second book? Is it almost done? When can we expect the next?
I think at some point in 2026.
Okay.
I mean, truthfully, I don't count the number of nights that I'm in hotels, and because I also get a lot of like comp stays because it's part of what I do for work. So I can't tell you exact number of nights, but I'm probably on the road over 200 nights a year. And
you have to be. Because my number this year, I think is like 170.
Yeah. And so I'm at like 70 flights for the year. And last year I did 110 flights. So given that, it's been a little hard to sit still long enough to write. But hopefully in the next couple months, maybe over like the holidays when it mellows out a little bit, can have some one-on-one time.
Do a little hibernation with the laptop.
Oh, for sure.
What do we know? Do we have a topic for the next book yet?
We
have to wait?
We're going to wait for that. We're going to wait until I make sure everything's...
I'm sure whatever it will be is going to be fabulous.
I hope it's cool. I think it'll be well received.
Yeah.
I get butterflies in my stomach when I think about it.
It will be well received. And I've loved giving out your book places. Aww. So I used to always take that because you signed a bunch of copies for me and sent them to
right.
So like I would keep them with me, and like when I would meet somebody like in England or like wherever I'm at, and like they were really like did a great job or whatever, like I would like write a note and give them the book.
Oh,
so
that's cute. You know, I have to say I do when the suitcase allows, I normally will try and pack a couple of extra books with me because I just never know who I'm going to see on the road. And sometimes it's just, it could be maybe I meet the general manager of the hotel or something like that. And so it ends up being a nice thing to do.
Have you ever given the book to a general manager because you're like, you need this?
No.
Because I almost did it once. I almost gave your book to a general manager at a hotel and I was like, Bryan, that's not appropriate. So
no, I did have a really interesting story that happened earlier this year where somebody was it was a front desk agent and she wasn't very nice to me and she was like refusing to let me in, give me a room, and then finally got whatever. And I was the keynote speaker at the event and it was a very weird, I flew a red eye. I needed to get in the room because part of me was like, am I really going to just like change in the bathroom and do a keynote and then get back on a plane?
Which you're not above doing.
No, no, not at all.
But
it was like, that would be less than ideal.
Right.
And then she's all like huffy about it. And then in comes like the one concierge in that entire state bounding across the lobby. Sarah, oh my gosh, it's so great to finally meet you in person. Oh my gosh. And he's like, oh my God, would you sign this and this? And so all of this is happening in front of this woman. And
did her attitude change after that?
No, not right away. And then he was like, can we take a picture? And he asked her to take a picture of the two of us. Oh. So now she has to take a picture of me with somebody. Anyway, so she was definitely like super huffy. And then time goes by. Then I come back out of, or I'm like, I bring my bag down to have them hold my bag because basically I'm speaking, getting right back on a plane.
Okay.
So I end up taking my bag to the front desk. She doesn't want to talk to me, but somebody else is closer to me. And I'm like, oh, do you mind holding this for me? And she's like, oh yeah, we can definitely do that. And she's like, oh, is that your book? Because I was holding a couple books. Oh. I'm like, yeah, I have a hospitality book. She's like, oh, that must be, that's so cool. I would love to read it. And I said, if I have an extra copy, be sure to leave one for you. Ended up having an extra copy. And as a thank you for holding my stuff, I put a $20 bill in there and then signed it to her. Okay. And then, so I came back and left that with her. And it tickles me to this day that the one woman was just like not into me at all. And then then the other woman probably was like, oh my gosh, she gave me a nice tip. And then my book was probably circulating in the background with my face on it.
Having managed that department, I can tell you that the one that was not happy, that was burning her up for days.
Yeah. And then just imagine my book is probably circulating in the back office.
So she's constantly seeing your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you...
She will never forget you.
Kill them with kindness.
You know what? And you know what? I came from the front office. The reality is there's always a way to get someone in a room.
Yes.
There's always a way.
And look, it was, I would say this, it was on
especially during the day.
The room was booked from the day before and we were in the middle of something and both myself and my assistant forgot to give a call. Okay. So
but was it before 12 o'clock?
Yeah, it was 9 a.m. It was 9 a.m. Okay. But I had the room from the night before, but they marked me as a no-show. So.
Well, we'll have to have you back when I have an attorney on. We'll talk about the contractual obligations there. Oh. There's an implied contract when you make that reservation. So technically it was yours until checkout time.
Exactly. Okay.
I'm not here for legal advice according to the attorneys. So
I am.
We'll just keep moving.
Give it all.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on for days. So, but it's so interesting that you bring her up because, obviously you and I go to these hospitality events throughout the year and we go to different conferences and everything. And something that's been prevalent the last couple of years has been AI entering our space.
Oh my goodness. It is like everybody's talking about it.
Everything. It's exciting, even things that aren't AI, people are calling AI just so that they can sell them. But it is exciting because there's like the amount of information that we're able to process so quickly is phenomenal. But do you feel, especially coming from the concierge role, of where you really are trying to create these custom experiences for people and really give actual service. Yeah. Do you feel like we're seeing this morph with AI into the self-serve models becoming a little too prevalent in our industry?
No, I mean, here's the thing. It all depends on the type of property.
Right.
You know, if you're going to have a luxury 5-star hotel, the type of guests that are staying at that hotel, the expectation is they want a bit more hand-holding.
Right.
Yes, okay, maybe we don't need to print something out on paper and have it sent in an envelope and slid under the door. Maybe it's like, hey, just text it to me. You know what I mean? We don't have to print out directions. You can just text them the address and they can go, you know what I mean? So It's like, obviously that's how technology has shifted so much. But, you know, when it comes to AI and especially using it in that, it's about kind of like gleaning info and making things just easier and just tailoring things a little bit more. But it's not replacing still the human touch. I'll give you a great example. I even just last night, because, you know, I've got private concierge clients and he's very tech savvy and he's always like pulling up stuff. He's like, hey, I'm here and I want to go to one of these like restaurants in San Francisco. And he sends me a screenshot from ChatGPT. I'm like, great. I love that he's so open with it. And then as I go through, I'm like, okay, well, this one's no longer open. This restaurant is closed on Mondays, and this was a Monday night. And then, you know, and then as you kind of go through these 5 restaurants, only 2 were potentially possible, you know? And so I think that's a great reminder of AI is absolutely useful, and it's going to change the way that we do so much. It changes the way that we get information about people, and we can kind of like tailor things, but it still needs to be delivered with the human touch.
Right. And things are so fluid.
Yeah.
If people don't, and like, I think people forget on the AI side, it only knows what it has been told, right? And what's out there and it's available. And if you don't have that human element to curate it, it may not always strike out. And it's funny you mentioned that he uses ChatGPT because I knew that there's a whole, like, I've seen some different things about, like, there's this whole thing about how ChatGPT could almost replace a travel agent at some point in time, just because it can make an itinerary. But to your point, it can make an itinerary, but it's
you have to double check its work. It will get better.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like I mean, it's already gotten better. It will get better. Right now, it's not perfect.
Right.
So, and then kind of going on that, it's interesting. I'm sure we'll get into it, but like we're definitely seeing trends for as much as like technology. I mean, this is just technology as a whole. We're seeing more people opt for how can we just go more analog with things and how can we
Yes, we are going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
I have a great question for you about that.
Okay, cool.
You did say something very good that I love. And I have been on this mission this year. For whatever reason, this has been my year of like trying to explain to people that even people in an economy hotel expect a clean room and friendly face.
Oh, of course.
And, you know, you mentioned like the service level at a luxury hotel is like, they're expecting some hand holding. But to that point, at the economy hotel, maybe they're not expecting, the hand holding as much, but they're still paying money and it's still a hotel. You're still welcoming somebody in. So they're still expecting some level of service. And it does make me worry a little bit, when you go from economy to luxury, the swings that we see in terms of like how people are relying on and really it's that self-serve model of not having that interaction with people.
Well, look, I forget the exact stats, but I just spoke on this last week, wherever it was.
The good news is whatever it was last week probably changed this week.
It probably changed. It was something like 74% of travelers like want technology and it helps them with their travels.
Right.
But they found that most travelers still need to have the human aspect because technology sometimes fails or this, but it just even going down to like the root of things. We're not looking for, and I don't think anybody in hotels should be looking for how can we just create like an entire humanless hotel concept, unless you're going for that as a novelty.
Right. And there are some concepts out there that exist.
Totally. They exist. But I'm just saying,
but you know what you're getting when you do that.
That's a novelty, and it's like, it's not I don't see it all going that way just because, again, we're humans. We crave interaction. We're craving it more than ever. I mean, I think we're just going to be seeing a lot more people really trying to like find different ways to just be connected. But, even in these, more of an economy hotel, even if I go to the front desk and like I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about dinner or whatever. And it's a front desk agent and it doesn't even have to be fancy. It could be Branson, Missouri. Nothing wrong with Branson.
Nothing wrong, yeah.
But, and they're like, you know what? I really like this place and maybe I go to that place. There's something about that very simple exchange that makes you feel good. And like you feel good about being there. So you can still make people feel good in a very simple way. It doesn't have to be all like gilded chandeliers and marble floors.
Right.
You just have to pay attention.
I think it's been interesting because we've, obviously, in my day job, like we consult with all different types of clients and it's just become so prevalent. I feel like it started a couple of years ago, but I feel like people have doubled down on it a little bit where they're like, there's like two camps in the space where it's like, they think no matter the scale, like, well, technology is replacing all these people and I want this and I want like, just to put a kiosk in and do all this because the guests, they don't expect anything else. And it's like, no, these are still human like things. Cause even if you take the airlines as an example, some of the budget airlines charge you to talk to a person, but they still have the option for you to get to a person somehow.
Yeah, of course.
Again, we could do a whole other show on that too, just about the fact that I still don't understand how the air industry gets away with as much as they do the hospitality industry. If we ever did some of the things they did, we would be out of business.
It's the difference of service and hospitality. They're in the service industry and we're in the hospitality industry. Yeah. So we're about how making people feel and they're about getting people from point A to point B.
Yeah. And that's a great way to put it. Mm-hmm. That's 100% true. Like it
is like you're not their objective. I mean, yes, you could sit there and then like go down and well, like I like to fly this because I like the seats in first class, but like that's like if you're really getting into it. But at the end of the day, they're in the service industry.
Yeah. They're just getting you from point A to point B.
Safely.
Safely in a specific amount of time. No, and that's a good point though, because I've seen you speak on this before. Like there is a difference between service and hospitality.
Sure.
And I think that again, when we apply the model to, really any business really at this point, you are either providing a service where you're delivering a product or a good or like a outcome.
It's transactional.
Or you're delivering. It's the difference
of being transactional versus doing something that like sparks like a bit of an emotion. Like, oh, that was nice.
Right.
And by the way, the UPS store can be like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
So
we've got Jill Zamanda coming up on the podcast here soon. And she's with furniture. It's funny. Their categories furniture dealer, I think is like the category, but they design commercial spaces and do like furniture. Like they are the ones that designed this setup here. And, she made a great point when we sat down that a lot of what the hospitality industry has been doing for quite some time is all come into the commercial space in terms of like making, and, she said something really great, where she was like, this whole returning to the office, it's not that it's a mandate. It's it's a desired thing where they want to come. You're making it a place where you want to go there.
They're trying to probably make a place more comfortable versus industrial.
Right. So it was interesting to hear her talk about it from that perspective that, bringing from a case goods type setting into that. But I know you and I have talked before about, all businesses ultimately. And I think you touched on this on your TED Talk as well about the fact that it doesn't matter if you're not in a hotel. Like people do there's a human connection in everything that you're doing.
Anytime that you are having a transaction with another person, there's an element for like if you're any service you provide, you could be a CPA,
right?
And there's like a service that you're providing, and you can have an element of hospitality, like a sense of care. I mean, really, that's what it is.
It's a sense of care, 100%. Like
that's what it is.
You want to because everybody wants to feel validated.
Totally. Or being like, okay, especially when you're providing a service, okay, even though it's a transaction, I am paying you money for XYZ, whether I'm buying something from you, whether you're giving me a service, whatever it is, but you want to feel good about it, like that whoever you're paying they care about what they're doing. Right. So whether they want to, you're on the same team.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing to kind of remind people, we're on the same team.
Yeah. It's interesting because I see this so often now. Like traveling, I feel like we're finally getting past like the COVID service slump in a way where it was like, we had those rough years.
It depends on the market.
Yes,
it definitely depends on the market, but I have been to many places where I'm like, Oh, wow. That was nice. And the fact that I'm so surprised by something so simple at times, I'm like, oh goodness.
I get surprised too sometimes because I'm like, because there are places where I go where I'm like, a kiosk would have been better than the interaction that I had. But I also have been places recently where I'm like shocked that the experience has been as good as it is. But I also have been shocked, in other lines of business working with people that I feel like they're finally taking into account, like we actually need to provide some level of hospitality because why, like everybody basically is offering the same service.
Totally.
There's multiple players in every field. So it's like, you got to set yourself apart. And what I read something very interesting this weekend is Target has come out with a big revelation.
Oh, what's that?
So Target has introduced the 10-4 rule in their stores. And they're training everyone on it right now. And it's going to be mandated.
Now?
Okay. So that was my reaction.
Just now?
Just now. And I did not know this. Now it's been a while since I've been in a Walmart, but I did not know. Well, no, Walmart.
Oh, okay.
Because to contrast the two.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I did not know that Walmart has had a policy in place for like decades about the 10-5 rule.
Whatever,
like how we would refer to it in the hotel, but they have their own version of that 10-4 policy that Target has rolled out. But it like absolutely rocked me when I read that, and Target made a big deal about announcing that they were doing it to their investors. But I'm thinking, you weren't telling your associates before to acknowledge.
They're looking for some good press.
They had to have been, right?
They are. The numbers are down.
Their numbers are down. And
I'm a fan of Target.
I am as well. Have you been in a Target that's been remodeled?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the remodels finally came to Arizona. So California is probably next.
Okay, cutting edge.
Again, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole here, like Outback and the Red Lobster did with us.
Oh God!
But you'll have to check those episodes out. We'll give you the B-roll of those. But Target, if they put music in the stores that they're remodeling, they never had music before.
Oh, okay.
For like 40 years, they've never had music in their stores.
You're right. They don't have music.
And I was like, no, they had music before. And then I was like, no, I guess they didn't. Like, it's a different feeling now. But they've remodeled the stores.
Okay.
In the new design. It's like it's a comfy, cozy look. There's music.
Well, good for them. They need to do something.
So they're definitely stepping it up.
They need to make up for their major misstep earlier this year.
Yeah. And I feel like they're always making one every couple of years. Like, they're kind of like some of the hotel franchisers where it's like, we just can't, like, we think we've got a good thing going and then we just step on our feet. But
yeah,
it's an interesting scenario.
Very interesting.
But when I read that though, I thought, and I knew obviously that we were going to be sitting down this week. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, she's totally right when she said it. Like you are having an interaction with a person.
Totally.
Like, how is this not something that in a retail store of all things, of Target of all things, that you would like, even if they are using it as just to get the press right now, it's like, why? Like, you weren't like, this should have been part of your DNA to begin with.
Totally. Well, so going back to airlines, and there's a reason why and for those that know me or follow me know that I'm very vocal about, I am very I fly one airline and I always stay and I fly with that airline all the time, because of the service. And it is genuine, and what they do and how they speak to you. And it's been countless number of times that I will have an interaction with them and I'm just like, how do you do your training? Because your training is so good compared to other places that just really don't care. And so I think, to me, that's just like such a huge plus for any industry, that if somebody can leave like, wow, that was kind of great. What did I just experience? But kind of going back to like different cities and markets, like that's one thing that I'll see. Like I'll see in like Los Angeles, like if I'm going to a coffee shop or this, people don't give that much necessarily. Every so often you might have like a star player out there, but it's very, I was at one of my old properties last night and like the valet, just watching the interactions, I was very like, all right.
I equate it to this though, Sarah.
Okay.
So I think it is very different depending on the city that you're in, and region that you're in.
Sure.
Because I also think when I go to New York, I'm always slightly taken aback by some of the interactions I'll have with staff.
How it's good?
Well, it'll be good, but it's good in a New York way.
Yeah, sure.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's not what the welcome would be that I would get in Chicago.
No, you know what city I will say that I'm constantly surprised. Really? It's interesting because like we were talking about this before. Yeah. Las Vegas.
Oh.
Every time because my mother just moved there, and so I've been spending more time there. And we'll go around. And it's like we go to a random hole in the wall sushi spot, and like they're so nice. Like we leave and we could be in a store. We can be at a Nordstrom rack, and I'm like, they were so nice. And we are constantly saying that. I'm like, what is in the water out here?
It's interesting because I do feel like the service.
This is also off the strip.
Well, I was going to say because I know the places on the strip to go where I know the service is that good.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like, hole in the wall.
I wouldn't have expected like off
Starbucks.
Strip,
so what are you up to today? I'm like, what, are we talking about my day?
I mean, that's very different. You won't get that here in Phoenix.
Oh no, you wouldn't get that in LA. It'll be like, yeah, it'll be up over there.
Yeah, that's what you'll get here in Phoenix.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we're kind of accustomed to that, but it's like, oh, you've got a little smile. I know, no joke. I was at a Starbucks and this guy's like, you got a little smile on your face this morning. What are you up to today? And I'm like, oh gosh. I'm like, well, I'm looking for houses for my mom, which I was.
Right.
Oh, great. She's moving. Where's she moving from? And it turns out we were like at a car rental agency and like the conversations. It's wild.
Las Vegas.
It's wild.
I would have never put it on the radar as being a hospitable city out like other than
it's obviously it is a hospitality.
I mean, it is a hospitality city, but like in terms of just like
the day to day,
like off the strip and everything.
It's weird. My mother and I will go, and I don't know if it's just because it's like we're just two like pleasant blondes bumping around, and like they're like really nice to us, but we constantly are like, that was really nice.
Hey, you know what? Well, then your mom's moving to a great place.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know what? You should you don't doubt anything. No. Anything's possible.
Oh, anything is possible. Totally.
Yeah. So like speaking of cities though.
Okay.
So you said, how many nights do you think you've been in a hotel this year?
Definitely over 200.
Okay. Easily. And how many countries do you think you've been to this year?
Oh, that's a great question. Because I have done a good number of countries this year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like you've floated between some too, because you've been on several cruises, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. I'd probably say 12 countries this year.
Okay. So out of all your travel, what's a place this year that you have found that you're like, you know what? I never would have expected to go there, but I want to go back.
Oh, that's a great one. Now I'm like blending this year with last year. So last year, what I will say was Costa Rica. Costa Rica really knocked it out of the park for me last year. This year, interestingly enough, where was I? Where have I been? Where have I been that's been just like, I finally got to go to Croatia. Oh. Actually. And it was lovely. And I was like, I mean, obviously it's lovely, but it was really great to see and experience. And it's so interesting because I think we have all like the usual fan favorites in Europe. And Croatia has definitely been on the list for quite some time. And they certainly have the infrastructure can handle far more tourists than ever before. But it was wonderful. It felt like all the familiar Europe. It had all that familiar European flair that you're craving as an American when you want to go have that European summer. Mm-hmm. But it was just like a little bit different, and I was into it.
You know, Croatia's never been on my list, so I may have to add that.
I now just remembered my crazy summer excursion that I went on, where I did 2 world wonders in one weekend. So
I saw this online.
Oh, this was a big deal. So this was fantastic. So I left on Los Angeles on a Thursday. Flew ITA Airlines, and we had a 10-hour layover in Rome. So we basically get to Rome at 12 noon on Friday, go to the Colosseum, which we'd gone to before, but of course, it's our 2 world wonders one weekend. Right. And so we go to the Colosseum, go have an Aperol Spritz in the Minerva, which is the new Orient Express property, right by the Pantheon. I had this beautiful day in Rome, then go back to the airport, get on a flight, end up going to Cairo. And the next morning we were checking out the pyramids.
That's insane.
And so Sunday had a little bit more touring, actually of their brand new museum, which is just recently
How was
opened.
That? Because when I was there the last time, they were finishing it up.
fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic. And then
it's been getting a lot of press lately.
Yeah, because I think they just finally officially opened.
Right.
They were kind of had this like soft open. But we were back in Los Angeles by 1 p.m. on Monday.
That's wild.
So that I have
How
to say,
tired were you when you got back?
I was tired because I didn't factor in that, we would be getting into Egypt at like 3 a.m. And then obviously it's warm. So you don't go to the pyramids at noon. You leave the hotel at 7 a.m.
You don't want to go to the pyramids at noon.
No, you don't. So I was a little tired, but I also like how fun and what a great, and it wasn't.
Did you do the camels rides at the pyramid?
I have a thing with camels.
You do?
I'm not a big fan of camels. They smell, they burp in my face. It's like, it's a whole thing. Like
Okay.
people really get into, they're like, ooh, they're exotic.
So my entire excitement of going to Egypt to see the pyramids was just, I was infatuated by the idea of riding the camel.
Okay. So I lived in Saudi Arabia until I was 6 years old.
Okay. So see, there's a
camels, like,
okay, this makes sense
like
to me now.
it would be just like, I don't know.
I do forget about that part of your life. So it's like,
I mean,
you've been
obviously.
there before. So
I've been there, done that. Camel is not like shocking to me. Like we're good. They're weird.
Okay.
I'm glad
They definitely do seem weird. I mean, my camel was moody.
They're moody. They have very bad breath. This was actually a huge deal, not just the 2 world wonders in one weekend, but Cairo officially marked that my last continent. I finally made it to Africa, which is crazy because I grew up basically right across the Red Sea from Africa because I was living in Saudi Arabia. So it's like I'm in and around the area, but I had never actually been to the continent.
Wow.
And so I have officially been to all the continents in the world.
That's amazing.
So that was pretty fantastic. And there's so much more. I mean, goodness, we definitely didn't do it justice. We were there for 48 hours. But I can't wait to go back. And I can't wait to go to Morocco. And I can't wait to go check out South Africa and Tanzania and all these places.
Oh, yeah. Tanzania.
Seychelles.
Cool. I do want to go do a safari.
So
if you ever end up going, if anybody is like, Sarah, we'd like to bring you on a safari, if you could just like pack me in your bag.
So I think, mark my words on this, 2026 is the year of the safari. So how, like when we're talking about bucket list trips, the past 2 years have really been all about Antarctica.
Okay.
You know, that was definitely like, it became like a big thing with the pandemic. But I think we're now going to see a lot of people doing safaris. And I'm actually planning a safari honeymoon, not for myf, but for somebody else.
I was like, do we have another breaking story?
Breaking news.
You completely buried the lead on this one.
I'm planning for clients of mine. They're going on a honeymoon next summer, and we are planning a whole safari for them.
Wow.
And it's a lot of fun.
That's amazing. See, I've only been on one safari, and it was at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
No, that doesn't quite count.
Yeah.
I've been on like a pseudo safari in Sri Lanka, which was pretty cool. It was a Sri Lankan safari.
Hey.
But yeah.
I mean, I want to do the whole like Queen Elizabeth thing, like go like live like on the Crown in the first episode where they're like out in the...
so you want to do like a whole colonial experience?
Well, I wouldn't call it that. Like where you're like in a hotel, like out in the middle of the jungle, like...
I'm giving you a hard time. You're like, Sarah, maybe you shouldn't have put it that way. Just say.
I mean, well, we could have I have something else I could say, but wow.
We will.
No, so we talked about, what we think is coming up in terms of travel trends. Vegas is an interesting story right now. We've seen, travel across the country because of everything going on politically in the United States is down.
Of course.
And, I see the numbers every week. Vegas is a market that
they
struggling.
Just hit the news just last weekend. Yeah. They're having a hard time. But I mean, a lot of cities are. Yeah. New York's struggling.
The whole country is struggling.
Los Angeles is really struggling. Yeah. They're not trying to advertise it, but they're really struggling. Yeah. Like, places are. I mean, even Miami, as much as there's like a big boom there, they're having a tough time. I mean, the reality is the whole country is struggling.
Yeah. And that's so like the one thing like with what's going on these days, like when we look at the metrics, everything's down across the board.
Of course.
And it just becomes a matter of like which area is not doing as poorly as another. And, I do think it is interesting that we're in this kind of politically created downturn. Just because it's not something that we've really seen in the past. Typically when we see our business in the hospitality space, when we see it declining, it's because, there's a global recession or something like that.
Economics, exactly.
And we're not really seeing that right now. And I know that I have noticed it just in terms of going, when I have gone to Europe and stuff, it's just a different dynamic. I was in Mexico several times this year. They were saying they had more people coming there from all over the place than they ever have before versus, but they haven't seen as many people coming from the United States.
Of course.
Again, I think it's a political narrative that's been created in a lot of ways. But it does, remind you that we are going to have the business ebbs and flows.
Oh yeah, that there's going to be a big
things always rebound.
Yeah, I mean it's going to rebound. I think the biggest thing will be just looking at it. I think a lot of times, like when we're in the United States, we look at things like from the inside, and we have to understand like the value of the dollar compared to other currencies. And I mean, it's really expensive to come here. So not just the political climate, which is absolutely part of it, but like it's expensive.
And that is a great point. Like it's also very expensive to come.
I mean, they're charging something like $500 per family member, per person to come in, like from India, for example. So if you have a family of 4, that's $2,000 just for them to get into the country.
Right.
So I mean, and then how strong is the dollar and how strong are other currencies? Because it's like, again, we're looking at our economy, but sometimes we need to like zoom out and be like, well, other places are having challenges too for maybe different reasons, or we're also all ultimately interconnected, which is why I sometimes find it so interesting. That's like, why would we ever do something that would alienate ourselves from other people, cultures, countries where I don't know, we should be more interconnected than ever before.
Right. Well, because the whole world is more connected now than it ever has been.
Digitally, we can get places easier. So
everything's connected to one another these days.
I mean, so there'll be a bounce back. I don't know how soon that'll happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can always hope.
No, but I think, and with that said, I do know that, because you mentioned it, like the cost to come here, number one, is high, but even the cost just to do things here has gotten exorbitantly more expensive in a lot of places. Not if somebody wants to get out this winter, say, and they don't want to go and spend the money to fly,
wherever
to another country or do any of that, and they want to stay, like, what are some places in the United States that you feel like are like what you would consider your hidden gems that you would say, hey, if you in the US?
Charleston's pretty sweet.
Everybody always says that, and I've never been.
It's charming.
Okay.
Charleston is really sweet. Oh gosh, I feel like probably different parts of like the Northeast, like Providence. Like again, we're kind of like going a little bit more like coastal, like more small towns that just like have a vibe to it. Even in Southern California, like places like Carlsbad and Oceanside has like a whole interesting.
I discovered Carlsbad during COVID.
It's amazing.
I was like, this is amazing.
It's great.
I'd never been before.
And
I was like,
it's a lovely little like beach town.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I think I drove to San Diego one day. It was a very quick drive.
Very quick.
So, no, I think it's going to be, I think the interesting thing right now is a good time for people to, if you own a hotel, reset your business, figure out kind of what you're going to be doing in the future.
Yeah.
But I think you also, if you own a hotel, know that this is not the end. Like it's going to rebound. And I think most people know it will rebound. Because it always does. And it's just the way things work. Like,
hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like when.
Yeah.
It's like,
but the question is when, and we're not,
like, are we talking about in a year or are we talking about like 10 years?
Right.
It all depends on how much things change.
Yeah, it just depends on how much things change in the next couple of years. But no, it should be I think next year will be interesting. I hope, Vegas, obviously being just because of the nature of the business.
Yeah, of course.
They're seeing the biggest impact right now, but
then you're also seeing some exciting things in other cities. I mean, I feel like hospitality and like the culinary scene's really alive and buzzy in Miami. I feel like both New York and Los Angeles are kind of like, it's like the changing of the guard. So you are seeing a lot of places closed, but you're also seeing a lot of places open.
Yes.
So,
which is an interesting point because it is a very interesting landscape right now in that perspective, because as things have risen in cost and like there's a lot more barriers in a lot of places, there are still new entrants coming in. Like,
there are.
And like
somebody's supporting something somewhere.
Somebody's supporting something. We're still seeing, luxury travel still going strong, which usually always is resilient in these times. But, we're going to see, I told somebody the other day, I said, look at it this way. Great things always come out of usually when things have been we've had a downturn.
Yeah.
So I think it's not fun right now, but it'll be interesting to see where it leads.
Yeah.
But I do think it's going to grow a little bit more potential home travel in terms of, I'm wondering in 2026 if we're going to see more people going out.
It all depends on how strong the economy feels internally.
Yeah.
Domestically.
Which is always a reminder that our business is tied directly to,
of course,
everyone's pocketbook.
Yep.
And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is.
We'll see.
So it should be interesting.
Yeah.
But, well, this was exciting.
This is good.
We talked about a lot about everything.
And camels.
I mean, I did love riding that camel. It was fun.
For you.
Looking at but then when it got really hot, I was like, get me the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I was like, I need air conditioning.
It's toasty.
It was very toasty. Yeah. Interesting. It was interesting. Yeah. But luckily I didn't smell their breath. Thank God.
Thank goodness I could change your opinion entirely.
Right. But no, Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and seeing our
I love your studio space. Here. This is great. It was so wonderful to do this in person,
Yes.
It really makes it it's different when you get to do it in person.
It's very different. I mean, we do appreciate everybody that jumps on virtually, but I can't just do your interview virtually. No,
we have to do this.
It's the energy I need.
And share a Diet Coke.
And share Diet Coke, yes. So exactly. Coca-Cola company, if you're listening, we have them right here. But no, hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, of course.
Who knows? I might see you in Los Angeles soon for potentially a Sabrina Carpenter concert.
Maybe. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler's hoping that I go to see Sabrina Carpenter so he doesn't have to listen to it anymore.
Okay, there you go.
But
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. We will be back on Friday with our Friday checkout, and then we'll see the rest of you next week. This episode of Check-In with Bryan is a production of RH Media Productions, hosted by Bryan Fish, executive producer Tyler Alexander, marketing support provided by Sunny Timbler. Thanks for checking in. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss this week's Friday checkout coming this Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. This edition of The Check-In was recorded at Next Space Studios. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Reliance Hospitality Global Incorporated or any of its affiliates, partners, or subsidiaries. All content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be interpreted as professional or legal advice.